guys, I'm here with Marilyn. She's one of my classmates. We wanted to put together a little study tips video because we passed our first semester.
Yes, we did.
And survived.
Survived.
So we just wanted to give you guys our study tips because we both kind of changed our study habits a lot throughout the first semester, because studying for the RT program is a lot different than studying for Gen Eds. Like Gen Eds, you can kind of get away with
Cramming.
With cramming, yeah. Whereas RT school, you definitely can't. And you're kind of studying more to learn and retain the information than you are studying for a test.
Definitely. When we first started studying, we didn't know what to study, so we just read the book, read the homework, read the PowerPoints. Look, I think at some point we just looked at videos to see if there was something out there. There was no luck that much.
Yeah.
We don't have tutoring like Gen Eds that we could do a math tutoring or whatever, science tutoring. We don't have that. We have to learn as we go or with each other's information, how we interpret things.
Yeah.
So that definitely changed a lot.
You have to rely on yourself and your professors. Like there's no tutoring. You can use some online information, but there's so many discrepancies, like with what your professor might be teaching, what your textbook might say versus what an online article might say. But I think the most important thing is to take the first few weeks of your semester to figure out how you want to study and what's going to be best for you. Because for me, I started out, I tried to read the textbook, and I have never learned from textbooks. I
tune out.
Yeah, I can read it 8 times, and I'm just like, I don't know what's important, what I'm supposed to focus on. There's like 200 pages, it seems like, to every chapter. So I stopped reading the textbook, and I just focused on my professor's lectures. I would combine like my personal notes from the lecture and their PowerPoints into basically a big study guide. And then I would just read through that a few times and then kind of condense it into a smaller study guide with the most important points, and then just cram that before the test.
I was doing the same thing. I was reading the book, and then it just came down to I was not doing good on exams. So I started figuring it out that it was more the PowerPoint, the lecture, the notes, the side notes that the teacher would talk about, and any little thing she mentions, it will come up. And I think, how does she remember she mentioned that?
Yeah.
And she puts it on the test, which is weird.
Literally take notes on everything.
Everything.
Like,
even if it's a joke in there somewhere, it's probably a question.
Our professors would make fun of us because, like, did you have a laptop in class too?
At the beginning.
Yeah, so like a bunch of us had laptops, and every word they said, we would literally be like, and they would like make a joke. Like they'd be like, your patient will die if you do this. And you would just hear us writing, your patient will die. And they're like, why are you typing that?
Yes.
It's just a joke.
And it got to a point that one of our other professors said, you don't have to write that.
Yeah, because like you literally, like anything they say is fair game.
Because you learn that some things that she might mention that you don't think is important, it end up being important. So yeah, that is so true.
Yeah. I
ended up printing the PowerPoints after because I was like, it was just easier than having a laptop, and so because at the beginning I used to highlight the crap out of that Eden's book. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And I got to, the PowerPoint worked better for, I think, a lot of us.
Yeah. See, she likes to print out the PowerPoints and then write the notes directly on it. I keep it on my computer, and then I have, like, the notes section open on it, like the presenter's notes. So I just do it digitally just because I take forever to write things by hand.
Yeah, I'm a slow typer.
Me too.
Then we figured out that for also studying besides the PowerPoint, we were doing flashcards at the beginning.
Yeah.
That was time consuming. Yeah. And there's some people, it works for some people because we have some classmates that have like stacks like this big for each chapter, but not for us. It just takes so much time to write. Then when we're about to study, it's just like, you just read it maybe one time and it's just a lot.
Yeah. Two, I think like having all that to like keep track of and not lose, and then if they get out of order, everything's not in the right way. I think it's easier just to either do notes and then Quizlet.
Yeah, I started doing Quizlet. Definitely Quizlet, because I have it on my phone. If I have extra time anywhere, if I'm at work and I have that extra time, I could just browse through and review it. And to me, it worked better than having physical flashcards everywhere I go. So to me, that worked better.
Quizlet too has like different options on how you can present the information you've put into it. So like you can either just do the plain flashcards, or you can have it in a test version, or there's games too where like if you're trying to match up like drug generic and brand names of drugs, like albuterol will come up on an asteroid, and then you have to figure out what the brand name is for it before it hits the bottom of the screen. Like, you
just told me about that, and I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, she didn't know about that. There's other games too, but I don't remember what.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play with Quizlet now. What else?
I would say the binders. So especially for checkoffs, I did not start doing this until like
we didn't. None of us.
Yeah.
We get the rubric, and then we like, oh my god, the book.
We would cram.
We were like, yeah, that is so true.
So when we first started doing checkoffs,
we didn't know what to expect. Yeah. So a lot of us were super nervous.
Yeah. So which, for those of you who haven't started school yet, checkoffs is when they'll teach you how to intubate a patient, and then you have to physically perform it for them
step by step,
and they test you off of it. Anything you miss, anything you don't do, you get points taken off for. So
and if you don't get, I guess you have to pass with a 90. I don't think anybody got that low.
Yeah.
But if you do, you have to, what is it?
Remediate.
Yeah, you have a few days, and then they will test you again to see if you pass that.
Yeah.
A few of them did have to, but yeah, at the beginning we didn't know what was going on. And it got to, I think after midterms, that's when we started, right?
Yeah, I think after midterms is when we really started figuring out how to study. But we basically started taking the rubrics for each skill. So say the skill was...
mask.
Yeah, oxygen masks and devices. We're still in winter break mode. Say the skill was oxygen masks and devices. We would take the rubric from our professor, and then for each step we would put any information that related to that step that we could be tested on. So if it said like choose the proper device for your patient, we would have all the different FiO2s,
including pictures. We were with our phones taking pictures of everything.
Yeah.
Because we more visual, so it's easier to study when you have the picture with arrow and the steps. Yeah. Like when my patient assessment, I had a little man, and I had arrows pointing the head. You got to check for if they're sweating, the eyes, dilation, the ears, everything from head to toe. I had a little man and I had stuff pointing everywhere.
Yeah.
Then for finals, because that was so much information, I started writing every step and why and what diseases associated with this. And we all started doing binders. We all started doing these cute binders with notes, and it was so easy for the final checkoffs, because like you said, we had to choose five skills to, in a little bucket, a fishbowl, and we choose 5, and like she pulled all 5 that she was gonna be tested on, and
out of my binder.
And then it was easy then to be looking at flashcards or trying to figure it out in your head.
Yeah. And then the other thing is too, we're getting checked off at the beginning of this next semester before we start clinicals. So all those skills, we had like 30 that we were tested on last semester, we have to be tested on again. So having that binder to go back on and look at all the notes, all the little details that we were taught in lab is really going to help.
Keep everything.
Yeah.
They told us that at the beginning, but
we didn't believe them.
It's not like we didn't. We just didn't take it serious.
No, we didn't.
Now we know, because they said you're gonna go back. I think it affected the seniors because they didn't, and now they had to go back to learning oxygen tanks. Yeah. And they look lost because it's been a year since they had that. So I think we are benefiting from it, keeping everything, because at some point we're gonna see it again, or we're gonna get tested on. Now the grades, the grading scale. The famous grading scale. A lot of people don't understand that.
I don't know.
A lot of people don't understand that. It's not like your regular 100 to 90 is A. It's not like that. It's 100 to 95.
92, I think it was. It was 92.
Okay, that's an A. So it's just tight. You already fail if you have a 74.
Our cutoff for passing, like our cutoff for what was it, a C, was a 75.
75.
And you couldn't have a D or an F to stay in the program.
You can have 74.8.
Yeah.
And they won't pass you.
Yeah. We had a couple people that, like, it's like a small margin.
We started with 20.
We started with 30 and we're down to 19, she said?
Yeah, we just found out it was 19. We thought it was 20, but 19 on the first semester.
So we lost a good portion. But you have to understand that too, just because other people might have struggled, like you have to focus on yourself and you can't focus on how many people you've lost and let that freak you out.
Yeah. Back to the grading. If you have a bad grade, that's okay. You could bounce back up because at the beginning, expect that. There's some people that they just learn different. Some people can have an A in the first test, but there's some people that have a C.
People struggle with different classes.
Don't get caught up that why she had an A, how she passed that A, because she has a different way of learning than yourself. Like some people learn by just reading it one time. Some people have to read it a bunch of times, and it's just different. And you'll find your way. You will find your way because at the beginning I wanted to give up. And I know I wanted to give up, and she knows. I was like, how, but why, and But after midterm, I think that's when I was like, you know what? I changed everything, and I started getting better grades and bringing them up, and she was happy for me. I'll be texting you, like, oh my God, Katie,
Yeah.
And so just don't focus on what other people are getting grade wise.
Because I think the vast majority of our class really struggled in the beginning and then wound up coming back after midterms. So you just have to keep that in mind too, that if you are struggling in the beginning, don't give up. Just stick it out, keep working on figuring out what the best way to study is.
And if you know this is what you really want to do, and you have that, like she said, the drive, you'll do better.
That is something that I would say though, like if you don't have that drive to be in respiratory therapy and you don't have that motivation, then I would maybe rethink it, because I think that's where a lot of the people that left our program went wrong, is they weren't very passionate about it. And I think it definitely requires you to have that motivation, to have that passion. I
think you see that more in the lab.
Yeah. The hands-on stuff is kind of where you see that.
Because if you're really interested, you're really curious of why or whatever.
Yeah. I would say just like before you start school, figure out what your reason for entering it is and keep that in the back of your head. Like for me, it was my dad, because my dad had a bunch of respiratory issues. And so like whenever school got hard, I would just kind of think of him and think about, I might be saving someone's life, like his RT saved his life. So.
Yep. Let's see. What else?
I think that's it. I think just figure out what works best for you. Ask your classmates what they're doing to study, because that was another thing our class did. Is they kind of just asked around.
I know a lot of us have like a planner. Once you get the syllabus, write everything that is due for everything, color code it. That's what I did. I color code each class, each whatever's due, and don't wait for last minute to do things. They give you a lot of homework that is time consuming, and just
get ahead on the homework.
You're not gonna have a break. If you say you're gonna have the weekend off, don't do that. Don't do it at all, because you're gonna be behind.
Yeah. At least I would set a goal for yourself too. Like say I'm gonna study at least an hour a day. Like even if you feel like you don't need to, brush up on something, go over something, because it'll make your life a lot easier when tests come around. And the planner thing, I didn't have a planner last semester, and I literally forgot about a test. It was like, come on, we had just gotten out of a test, and I was like, I can't wait to go home and take a nap, and Kunwal's like, yeah, I have to study for Magnetico's exam, our professor. And I was like, what are you talking about? So
I hate those weeks because there's always those weeks that we had 3 or 4 exams, and you don't know I normally study the ones that I'm doing bad, worse on. And then you just lose focus on the other ones.
Yeah.
And that's why it's good to have that planner. I have the planner plus, and above my study desk, I have that erase board calendar, and I write everything there. Yeah. That way, when I'm studying, I'm looking like, oh my God, I got homework next week. I gotta start that this week, so I don't have to do it next week because we have exams. And you have to learn how to balance and don't take that day off.
Yeah.
Because even in spring break, we try to be ahead on homework because there's always something in between that is you're not gonna be able to do that, and it's just.
Well, we literally had weeks too where we went to school Monday through Thursday. We would have a test Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I guess it was. And then we would have checkoffs that same week too. So like literally every single class you have, you might have a test in. So if you're not staying ahead and that week comes up where you're being tested on every single subject.
And we go to school until, what time we go to school till? There's days that we have lab, we school till 3:30 or 4. But those other days we're there till 12, but.
Yeah.
The day goes like this.
It does.
She lives far. She lives further than me. Yeah. But, if you have to take that drive, the traffic and all that, by the time you get home, because we have to wake up so early, you want to take a nap. That's another thing. I started to take naps after class.
You have to.
Because that makes my brain rest a little bit. Because I learned that from the beginning. I didn't take naps. But when it comes down to 7, 8 o'clock, I am drained. I just rather go to sleep. I don't want to do homework. I don't want to do nothing. And I learned if I take a nap, maybe like an hour. Yeah. Yours is longer. But mine's an hour because I have kids and I have to cook and, be on top of them. But when I take that hour, I feel like, okay, I'm more refreshed and I could be able to study. I learned that.
Yeah. I had to, and there was days where I was so exhausted, this is what she's referring to. I would literally fall asleep for like 4 hours. I'd get home at like 1, and I'd wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock. So, but I mean, I needed it because I do live so far from school. I live in like an hour 20 with traffic in the morning. So I wake up at like 5:45 to get here early to beat the traffic because class doesn't start till 9. So like it's.
And we don't like because I live with traffic about almost an hour, but it's like 45 to an hour, depends, because we have I-4 and there's always an accident and they have construction. But me and her are almost the same ones that always get here around 7:45.
The people who live the furthest always get here the earliest because they try to beat the traffic.
And we could just sit in class doing nothing. Yeah. Sometimes if we have a test, of course, we're studying. But if we don't have a test and we just have lecture, we just rant about anything.
Yeah. I try to study sometimes, but I took a nap in my car too one day. I got here at like 7 o'clock and I just took a nap before class. But figure out what works for you. Like if you have to get to class early, you can use that as study time or time to just mentally decompress. Because that's just as important as staying on top of things, taking care of yourself.
Yep.
So I think that's it. But yeah, we'll have to do another video.
If you have any questions, just you could like follow us on YouTube or Instagram. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we'll put the link to our Instagrams below. Feel free to email us because we did it to the other RT. Yeah. The students are the ones that graduated. We do that. So I know people are starting to do it with us because now we just started school. Yeah. A lot of them are already almost done, but like the people that follow us that are just starting school, I know I have one on my YouTube that's always asking me questions because she's about to start now next week. Really? And she's nervous and everything, but she saw my videos about how I don't post a lot because I feel like I don't have that much time.
You don't, and especially last semester. Like I think Amy said she didn't really do anything. Amy her YouTube is what, Breathe Easy. Her videos are really good if you haven't seen them, but she said she didn't really do a whole lot her first semester either.
We spoke to our professor today, and she says I don't know because I don't trust her laughs. It's the way she says it. I don't trust her.
Our professor will be like, your test is going to be easier. And then everyone walks out and they're like, she lied.
Yeah, so every time she just comes with that smile, it's like, I always call her out on it. Like, what does that smile mean? But she told us today this semester is gonna be easier.
Yeah.
But
I've heard that it progressively gets easier.
Yeah.
Because you have more of a background knowledge each semester.
Yeah. So yeah, just feel free to, you know, write to us or ask any questions, and we're more than glad. We're in the same class. A lot of people didn't know that because we had our own separate. And then I think it's that picture that we posted for Respiratory Week that people like
you know each other,
that you're in the same school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Just let us know if you guys have any questions, and good luck.
Yes.